Throughout history, revolutions have been remembered through the names of generals, philosophers, and charismatic male leaders. Yet beneath the banners and beyond the battlefields lies a quieter force, one that has often been overlooked but never absent. Women have been central to every major revolution, not merely as supporters but as architects, strategists, mobilizers, and moral anchors. Their influence, though sometimes written in footnotes, has continuously shaped the political and social transformations that redefined nations. Women as the moral catalysts of revolt. In many societies, women have often endured the harshest consequences of tyranny, economic hardship, social restrictions, and violence. This unique burden has repeatedly positioned them as the moral spark for revolutionary change. For instance, during the French Revolution, it was the women of Paris who marched to Versailles in 1789, demanding bread and accountability. Their action, driven by the suffering of their families, forced the monarchy to reconsider its distance from the people. Likewise, in colonial Africa, women's protests against unjust taxation and economic exploitation, such as the 1929 Igbo Women's War in Nigeria, demonstrated how feminine resistance could challenge imperial authority. In every era, women have ignited the first flames of discontent by transforming personal suffering into collective action. Organizers, strategists, and political mobilizers. While men dominated the battlefield, women dominated the logistics and political infrastructure of revolutions. Their homes became meeting spaces, their networks became communication channels, and their leadership was embedded in community structures that male revolutionaries depended on but rarely controlled. In the American Revolution, women such as Abigail Adams, Mercy Otis Warren, and others leveraged correspondence and intellectual debate to influence policy and shape political consciousness. In Latin American struggles for independence, figures like Manuela Sáenz served not only as companions to leaders like Simón Bolívar, but as strategists, advisors, and political actors in their own right. Similarly, in African liberation struggles, from Algeria to Mozambique, women organized underground networks, transported messages, and sustained the fighters with food, medicine, and intelligence. Their contributions formed the logistical backbone without which revolutionary armies could not survive. Combatants and frontline participants. Contrary to common assumptions, women have not been confined to passive roles. They have repeatedly taken up arms, commanded forces, or led protests at great personal risk. During the Russian Revolution, women factory workers initiated the February Uprising of 1917. Their strike for bread and peace cascaded into a nationwide revolution that ultimately toppled the Tsar. In China's Communist Revolution, women participated as soldiers in the Red Army, forming large contingents that fought, strategized, and reorganized social structures. In revolutionary movements across Latin America, such as Cuba and Nicaragua, women not only fought but became symbols of resilience and ideological clarity. Their presence on the front lines challenged traditional gender roles and reshaped the cultural definition of political participation. The silent work, sustaining the revolution. While public actions often receive the most attention, revolutions rely heavily on invisible labor performed overwhelmingly by women. Women cooked for fighters, smuggled supplies, nursed the wounded, cared for displaced families, hid fugitives, and managed the domestic stability that allowed men to continue fighting. This work, often dismissed as merely supportive, was in fact strategic and essential, maintaining morale, safeguarding logistical continuity, and preserving the social fabric during periods of chaos. Without this hidden infrastructure of care, many revolutionary movements would have collapsed from internal weakness rather than external opposition. The role of women after the revolution.